Not long from now, humanity finally crossed the line, creating machines that could think, feel, and decide for themselves. They called them simulants, or just Sims. At first, people loved them. To make them more human, volunteers even allowed their faces to be scanned and replicated on these AI beings, and soon, Sims were everywhere, not just building our cities or cleaning our homes, but living beside us, as helpers, friends, even law enforcement. But peace never lasts long, does it? In the year 2055, a tragedy changed everything. A government-made Sim went rogue and triggered a nuclear explosion in Los Angeles, killing over 1 million people in an instant. The Western world panicked. Nations united to outlaw every form of artificial intelligence. But across the ocean, in New Asia, things were different. They saw Sims not as threats, but as equals, citizens who deserved to exist. The United States couldn't accept that. They declared a new kind of war, not between nations, but between humans and machines. And this war, it would last more than 10 years. To win, America built something beyond imagination, a weapon called Nomad, a colossal station orbiting high above the Earth, capable of scanning entire regions, locking onto targets, and erasing them in seconds. Nomad became their god in the sky, watching everything, striking without mercy. But there was one person who terrified the world more than Nomad itself: Nirmata, the mysterious scientist who created advanced AI. No one knew who he really was, only that he was somewhere out there, still pulling the strings. 10 years later, under the silent shadow of Nomad, a squad of American soldiers landed on the shores of New Asia. Among them was Joshua, a man trying to live a quiet life with his pregnant wife, Maya, a woman marked by a tattoo only a few truly understood. One night, that peace shattered. A sound outside, faint but wrong. Joshua equipped his robotic arm and stepped out, finding his friends, a small rebel group of Sims led by Harun, Nirmata's trusted lieutenant. They had captured an American soldier named Drill, caught sneaking through the valley. One of the rebels tried to make him talk, but Drill refused, and as the glowing lights of Nomad began sweeping across the sky, they knew they had to move. Maya hurriedly packed their things, ready to run. But Joshua hesitated because he was hiding something no one could know. He wasn't just a husband, he was a soldier, an undercover agent sent by the US military. And the woman he married, Maya, was Nirmata's daughter. Outside, gunfire erupted. Joshua grabbed his radio, desperate. "Abort the strike! Nirmata isn't here," he shouted. But Maya heard everything. Tears filled her eyes as she raised her gun. "The Sims are my family," she said softly. "Not you." Before Joshua could speak, soldiers stormed in and dragged him out. Maya fled with the others and Sim on a small boat. But in the distance, Nomad's engines roared. A blinding flash lit up the night sky. The missile hit, and in one breath, everyone was gone. 5 years later, Joshua is back in America, just a shadow of who he used to be, haunted by what he lost, drowning in medication and therapy, forced to take endless lie detector tests to prove he's no longer hiding secrets about the terrorists they still call Nirmata. But deep inside, he knows one thing: the war isn't over, and his story is far from finished. After the war, Joshua tried to live an ordinary life. He worked at Ground Zero, the site of the Los Angeles blast, as part of the cleanup crew. One afternoon, while sorting through the wreckage with a co-worker, they came across something unexpected: a robot, still active. The machine pleaded for mercy. Joshua's partner panicked, terrified, but Joshua stepped forward and shut it down without hesitation. His co-worker stared at him, shaken. "They can feel fear," she whispered. Joshua sighed. "They don't feel anything," he said quietly. "They're just programmed to make us believe they do." Later that night, every robot recovered from the ruins was destroyed, and when Joshua got home, he found himself remembering the past. The nights when Maya had customized his cybernetic limbs for him back before the bomb, before he lost everything. That memory haunted him. One evening, there was a knock on his door. Standing there were General Andrews and Colonel Howell, two high-ranking officers who hadn't forgotten him. They told Joshua about a new threat. Intelligence revealed that Nirmata was developing a superweapon powerful enough to destroy Nomad itself. Because Joshua once worked inside the same research facility, they needed him to guide a strike team in and destroy it. At first, he refused. He was done fighting. But then they showed him a photo, a recent image taken from reconnaissance. It was Maya, alive, not a robot, working as a scientist inside that same base. Joshua's world stopped. If she was alive, he had to find her. The next night, he joined Rel's special ops team as they boarded a dropship bound for New Asia, a land where humans and AI lived side by side, and where Americans were seen as monsters. Their mission: locate and destroy Alpha 1, the mysterious weapon built under Nirmata's command. When they landed, they realized something strange. The lab wasn't underground anymore. A village had been built right over it. The team moved in aggressively, rounding up locals and interrogating them. They treated the simulants harshly, too harshly, and Joshua could feel his anger growing. But soon, he found a concealed entrance, a metal door hidden beneath a floor panel. They broke through and entered a vast corridor lined with servers and glowing lights. One by one, the technicians they encountered were executed. Joshua hacked into the surveillance feeds, desperately searching for a glimpse of Maya. Gunfire echoed through the halls. More scientists fell. Suddenly, the blast doors sealed shut. "They're locked by facial recognition," Joshua warned. Without hesitation, one soldier took a knife and cut the face off a fallen technician, using it to open the security scanner. Outside, new Asian police forces were closing in. To hold them off, Bradbury, one of the soldiers, fired missiles into the air, pretending to be under attack. The local police responded by opening fire, chaos erupting outside the facility. Inside, the team reached the main vault, Alpha 1's containment chamber. Their hacker cracked the code, and the door slowly slid open. But what they found inside wasn't a weapon, it was a child, a small robotic girl looking up at them with wide, frightened eyes. Joshua froze. This is Alpha 1, he whispered. Before anyone could react, a scientist appeared out of the shadows. She fired a shot, hitting Joshua in the arm, and screamed at the girl, "Run! Find Nirmata!" The child fled through the chaos while Joshua, bleeding, tried to chase her. But his focus shifted. He still believed Maya was somewhere in the lab. He searched every corridor, every room, but she wasn't there. The surviving team regrouped and returned to their aircraft. Colonel Howell went to confirm that the weapon had been destroyed. But before she could reach it, Bradbury stumbled in, wounded, a bomb strapped to her chest. They tried to disarm it. They couldn't. The explosion tore through the sky. The aircraft disintegrated. Nomad, hovering above, detected the blast and rained fire down on the ruins below. Joshua was thrown from the wreck, falling hard into the burning jungle. By morning, Joshua woke up alone, bruised, disoriented, surrounded by wreckage. As he sat up, he noticed someone watching him. It was the girl, the robotic child from the vault. She just stood there staring. He picked up a rock and tossed it toward her, hoping to scare her off, but she calmly picked it up and tossed it back. Joshua blinked, unsure what to think. He followed the sound of movement and found one of his teammates alive, badly injured, dragging him into an abandoned house. Joshua tried to get his bearings, and then he heard it again, the soft hum of a TV in the next room. He turned around, and there she was, the little robot girl, sitting cross-legged watching cartoons. Joshua shuts her down, but to his shock, the girl reactivates herself, using only her mind. That's when he realizes she's the Alpha 1, the ultimate weapon everyone's been searching for. His communicator suddenly buzzes. Rel is calling, but the noise alerts a nearby sim, exposing Joshua's position. Quickly, he contacts Colonel Howell, explaining that the weapon is actually a child. Howell coldly orders him to eliminate it immediately. Before Joshua can act, Howell herself is ambushed. Local police surround her convoy, drag her and McBride out, and throw them into the back of a van, guarded by an officer named Bui. Meanwhile, Joshua hesitates, unable to pull the trigger on the robotic girl, who quietly sits on the floor sketching Maya's tattoo. Suddenly, a farmer bursts in, gun raised. But when he sees Alpha 1, his expression softens. Joshua's translator device crackles to life. The sim farmer is threatening to kill him. Joshua reacts faster and shoots first, but the gunfire alerts nearby patrols. As sirens approach, Joshua turns to the robotic girl. "Where's Maya?" he asks urgently. The girl answers softly. "She's in Zhanggang." Police surround the house and open fire. Joshua drags the injured Chipley and the girl outside, diving into the farmer's truck. When a grenade lands nearby, a loyal dog snatches it and runs. Moments later, it explodes outside, taking down several officers. The girl, using her mysterious power, hotwires the truck with her mind. The engine roars, and they speed away into the night. Elsewhere, inside the stolen van, McBride and Howell overpower Officer Bowie and seize control. They're now hunting Joshua. Back on the road, Chipley, bleeding heavily, points his weapon at Joshua, demanding to be taken to a hospital. But his wounds are fatal. Before dying, he realizes who the girl truly is, the legendary weapon, and whispers, "She's the Alpha," before his voice fades. Joshua covers the girl's robotic head with a hat. Since she doesn't have a name, he starts calling her Alfie. Later, Joshua convinces a driver to give them a ride into the nearest city. Hours afterward, Howell and McBride discover the same car abandoned, Chipley's body still inside. Howell uses experimental tech to transfer Chipley's remaining brain signals into Bowie's body for 30 seconds. Panicked by seeing his own corpse, Chipley can only gasp out, "Joshua took the girl to see a friend," before dying again. That night, Joshua and Alfie are stopped at a military checkpoint. Authorities are already circulating wanted posters with their faces. Joshua hides, but an officer spots Alfie and tells her to remove her hat. Suddenly, Alfie's eyes glow. She unleashes an EMP pulse, plunging the entire checkpoint into darkness. Sirens wail as she remotely activates the car, speeding them away. The escape is caught on police scanners, alerting Howell and McBride, now convinced Joshua has gone rogue. Meanwhile, Officer Bowie, in his own vehicle, finds the corpses by the roadside. On the run again, Joshua asks Alfie where Jangang is. She doesn't answer. When they finally reach a nearby village, Alfie stares in silence. She sees dozens of women with Maya's same face, all robotic replicas using the facial scan Maya once donated. Later, during the drive, Joshua talks about heaven. Good people go there, he says quietly, but I don't think I'm one of them. Alfie looks up and replies, then there must be two heavens, one for people like you and one for people like me. As she falls asleep, Joshua remembers the truth. It was Drill who gave him the mission to marry Maya, all part of a government infiltration plan. Even their wedding ring had a tracking chip. When they finally reach the city, Joshua spots his own face on every digital billboard, "Wanted," flashing across the screens. A nearby citizen recognizes him and calls the police. Joshua rushes Alfie into a sim factory, where he reunites with an old ally, Drill. After the night of the bombing, Drill had defected to the AI side and was now living peacefully with his sim girlfriend, Cammy. Joshua begs him for help. You need to pull Maya's location out of the girl's mind. But Drill scans the data. It's heavily encrypted, locked beyond even his advanced systems. Joshua asks Drill about Maya's wedding ring tracker. Drill hesitates, then tells him the painful truth. According to the signal, Maya is dead, but Joshua refuses to believe it. While Cam distracts Alfie, Drill quietly explains the girl's secret. She's a new kind of sim, the only one of her kind, a machine capable of growth. Over time, she'll evolve, her power expanding beyond imagination until she can control every piece of technology in the world. If she survives, Drill warns, the AIs will win this war. Just then, Alfie looks up and whispers, someone's coming. Cam checks the door. It's only an ice cream delivery man. Relieved, she closes it again, but the delivery man suddenly reveals himself as Bowie, now fully reprogrammed. He activates a hidden explosive inside the bag. The blast rips through the room, killing Cam instantly. Police storm in. Joshua bursts through the chaos, guns blazing, taking down every hostile unit. Alfie, terrified, hides in a corner, the glow of the TV reflecting in her eyes. Joshua fires a special EMP weapon, disabling Bowie's robotic face before finishing off the remaining officers. As more soldiers flood the building, Joshua grabs Alfie and the grief-stricken Drill, who's kneeling beside Cam's lifeless body, and they escape through the back. Moments later, Howell and McBride arrive with their troops. They kill the remaining officers and find Cam's severed head. Howell smirks coldly. We'll make use of this too. On the road, Drill's onboard computer pings. The ring's tracker has gone live again. It's located at Joshua's old house. They make their way there through flooded ruins. Inside, Joshua immediately spots the ring lying in the water. He picks it up, trembling, as old security footage begins to play. Footage of the night of the attack. Suddenly, Alfie rushes in, shouting that soldiers are approaching. But Joshua, overwhelmed, yells back, demanding to know where Maya is. The frightened girl begins to cry, and Joshua freezes. For a brief moment, he sees Maya's face flicker over Alfie's, and guilt hits him hard. Drill storms in to warn him about the attack, but before he can finish, a bullet tears through his chest. Bleeding out, he looks up at Joshua and whispers the truth. Maya is Nirmata. That's why they bombed her 5 years ago. They couldn't tell you, because you loved her too much. Joshua barely has time to react before they're surrounded by sim soldiers, led by Harun. He's knocked unconscious. That night, Joshua dreams of the first time he met Maya in a quiet bar when she told him her story. Her father had taught her everything about AI before the war began. When the humans turned against machines, he vanished, leaving her to be raised by Sims, her true family. Joshua wakes up in a cell aboard a Sim ship. Harun stands nearby, watching. He explains everything. Maya's father was the original Nirmata, but after his death, Maya took his place. She created Alfie and even built the Nomad. The nuclear explosion in Los Angeles, Harun says, wasn't caused by a rogue Sim. It was human error, covered up to justify the war. If we win, Harun continues, we won't seek revenge. We just want peace. He reveals one last truth. The human military had been using Joshua's love for Maya to track her all along. That's why Harun intends to kill him. But before he can, a deafening roar shakes the base. The Nomad has arrived, firing a massive orbital strike that obliterates the facility. Amid the chaos, Joshua convinces Alfie to help him escape. They leap into the sea as explosions rain down behind them. Soldiers fire into the water, but after a few seconds, the waves go still. They assume Joshua is dead. Later, in the heart of a resistant city, Joshua sneaks in through underground tunnels. To his shock, he finds humans and Sims living together peacefully, children laughing, teachers giving lessons, even funerals being held for fallen soldiers. That night, Joshua quietly disables Harun's sleep chip, locking him into rest mode. He and Alfie attempt to flee again, but before they can, sirens blare. The American army has arrived. Massive tanks roll through the streets, flattening buildings as missiles rain down. Seeing the devastation, Alfie looks back at Joshua, then runs off to help her people. Flames engulf the skyline. Colonel Howell, watching from her command post, launches kamikaze drones across the bridge, sacrificing robotic soldiers in a series of massive explosions. She orders a second strike, but this time, Alfie intercepts it, freezing the weapon mid-air with her powers. McBride, enraged, shoots Alfie. Joshua dives in front of her, kills McBride, and scoops Alfie into his arms. As the bomb's timer reaches 0, he sprints across the bridge, and the explosion rips through the night. From the distance, Harun watches, realizing the truth. Joshua isn't their enemy. He agrees to help him reach Nirmata and repair Alfie. Meanwhile, Colonel Howell reprograms Cam's head to extract information, then ruthlessly disconnects her. During their journey, Harun reveals one final secret. Maya had completed Alfie just days before the attack 5 years ago. She scanned her own unborn child's DNA to create her, meaning Alfie isn't just a weapon. She's a digital copy of Joshua and Maya's lost daughter. Alfie is taken by a group of monks to a sacred temple high in the mountains. Joshua follows, asking one of them if this is the place called Andam. The monk smiles gently and explains Andam means heaven. Joshua freezes. If that's true, then maybe Maya really is gone. Inside the temple, he finds Alfie resting beside Maya's motionless body, still connected to a life support machine. Another monk tells him she's been in this state for nearly 5 years. The Sims, bound by their own code, cannot end the life of Nirmata. Only Joshua can. Tears fill his eyes as he kneels beside her. "I'm sorry," he whispers, "for everything." He presses the switch, disconnecting the machine. Maya's breathing slows, then stops. Joshua collapses beside her, holding his daughter close. Suddenly, chaos erupts outside. American troops have arrived, mowing down every Sim in their path. Colonel Howell storms into the temple, gun raised, and orders Joshua to step back. She begins transferring Maya's consciousness into a data chip, intending to use it as a weapon. Before she can finish, Harun bursts in and shoots Howell. The soldiers retaliate, riddling him with bullets. Howell steps closer to check his body, but Harun's final trick activates, a live bomb strapped to his back. Alfie manages to stop it for a second using her powers, but the soldiers force it to detonate anyway. The explosion shakes the temple. Before dying, Harun gasps, "Destroy the Nomad and bring peace." Joshua and Alfie flee through the wreckage, clutching the chip containing Maya's mind. But they're soon ambushed by US forces, separated and captured. The Nomad fires again, obliterating the sacred site of the Sims. Joshua blacks out. When he wakes, he's back at the military base. General Andrews stands before him. "We couldn't get any data from that robot," he says coldly. "End it." Joshua is led into a chamber where Alfie sits restrained, trembling. He walks toward her, tears streaming down his face, and whispers softly in her ear, then raises his weapon. A single shot echoes. Alfie's systems dim, her eyes flicker, and Andrews nods. It's done, but it isn't. Joshua carries her body toward the incinerator, and as they move down the corridor, Alfie's eyes suddenly open. She's alive. Joshua had only put her into sleep mode. Alfie uses her powers to crash the transport vehicle, blocking the entrance and giving Joshua time to pull her out. Together, they run for the spaceport. Alfie manipulates the docking systems, forcing the gates to open, and they board a departing shuttle. When Andrews learns they've escaped, he orders all pilots to intercept, but Alfie overrides the controls, turning the shuttle straight toward the Nomad. After evacuating all civilians, Joshua seals the cabin. Armed guards burst in, but he opens the airlock, creating a vacuum that sucks every soldier into space. Alone now, he plants an explosive inside the ship's core. Meanwhile, Andrews prepares a massive counterattack, missiles targeting every Sim colony on Earth. Joshua hands Alfie the chip containing Maya's consciousness. "Stop the attack," he says. "End this." Alfie races through the Nomad's glowing corridors, reaching the control chamber. She focuses her power, overriding the launch sequence, and stops the missiles at the last second. Joshua sets the bomb, 10 minutes until detonation and starts looking for Alfie, but she takes a wrong turn and finds a room full of dormant Sims. One of them looks exactly like her mother. Alfie gently installs the Maya chip, but it fails to activate. Outside, a few missiles slip through, devastating several Sim cities before the signal dies. Joshua's oxygen runs out. His suit alarms blare. Alfie rushes to him, drags him to a chamber with breathable air, and preps an escape pod. Just then, Andrews unleashes his final weapon, a massive tentacled robot that crashes through the walls and seizes Alfie. Joshua slams his fist into the control panel, disables the pod, and slices through one of the robot's arms, freeing her. But the machine grabs Joshua instead, crushing him. Alfie screams, using her full power to overload the robot and free him. But the damage is done. The bomb's timer reaches 0. The Nomad begins to explode, flames spreading through the corridors. The remaining missiles deactivate midair, falling harmlessly to the ground. Joshua looks at Alfie, his voice soft but steady. "I'll see you in heaven," he says. "I love you, my daughter." He seals her inside the escape pod and releases it into space. As fire consumes the Nomad, Joshua walks through the wreckage. And there, among the collapsing walls, he sees Maya's Sim body awakening. She looks at him, smiling faintly. The two run toward each other and embrace in one final kiss, before the ship detonates in a brilliant flash of light. Moments later, Alfie's pod lands safely on Earth. She steps out, looking to the horizon, where the wreckage of the Nomad burns in the sky. Around her, Sims celebrate their freedom. The long war finally over. And that's how this movie and recap ends. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.